I'm glad that they picked the right game for this movie, because if it was hide and seek, that wouldn't be much of a movie at all. They just couldn't find Jeremy Renner's character the entire time. It'd be, ugh. I'm John Hayeck, and welcome to my movie thoughts. Tag. So this is a new movie starring Ed Helms, Jon Hamm, Hannibal Buress, Joe Johnson, and Jeremy Renner. I almost forgot the fifth one, which would have been bad because he's like the most important part of the entire movie. And these five guys have been friends since they're like 8 or 9 years old, and they've been playing the same game of tag for the past 30 years. Like tag, you're at the same thing they used to play on the playground and everything. These guys have been playing the same game since they were kids. Every year during the month of May, tag is on, and Jeremy Renner's character has never been tagged, and he's threatening to retire from the league after this season. So the four guys, Jake Johnson, Hannibal Buress, Ed Helms, and Jon Hamm, all team up, join forces, and try to tag Jeremy Renner. And I'll tell you guys this, it's an enjoyable comedy. Tag's a pretty good movie overall. There's some pretty good technical mechanics behind it. There's some good laughs here and there. It isn't doing anything new. It's not necessarily reinventing the wheel, but it doesn't really have to, because as long as comedy makes you laugh, it's doing pretty much everything it needs to do. First of all, the cast of this movie is incredible. Everybody's kind of playing a little bit of a cliche. Ed Helms is the Ed Helms character. Jon Hamm's kind of like the, wealthier businessman type of character. Jake Johnson's the stoner, which is funny because usually he plays like the kind of likable, nice guy next to her and everything, like he does in New Girl. But I like seeing him play against type in this movie. He is like a stoner to like the 10th degree, though. Like he's completely the stereotype stoner, like smoking in every scene, always making references to like being high and stuff. So it was kind of a little bit over the top, but still funny in his scenes. Hannibal Buress stole the show because he was like more soft spoken, had these just cynical one-liners that were always just zinged, and everybody in my theater was laughing a ton whenever he spoke. He was just, again, show stealer in my opinion, but the cast mingled pretty well. You believe these guys have been friends for years. Jeremy Renner's character was my favorite in the entire movie, though, because he's one of these guys that like takes everything so seriously, and he's one of these super competitive people. And like being a competitive person myself, I just like seeing competition be exaggerated to like the 10th degree. It was really funny. Jeremy Renner, you could see him like anytime he was like about to get tagged and everything, you would see his thought process on like how he avoided it. So it'd be like going down to do something, and then he like noticed that the person, one of his friends, would be like in disguise, and he'd like break down exactly how it was thought. It was kind of like Sherlock in the show Sherlock, like how Sherlock thinks and everything, only with Jeremy Renner's character in this movie. It was really intricate, it was really funny, and I really liked that as well. The other thing that isn't probably going to be talked about too much in the reviews of this movie is the editing. The transitional sequences in this movie are really cool. Like a character will walk by in like front of the lens of a scene, and it'll do like a swipe transition. It was pretty neat. So honestly, I thought the editors did a pretty clever job getting some stuff done. The only issue I have with the movie, as I already mentioned up front, it isn't like necessarily a big glaring issue with the movie, but I do think it isn't all that fresh. It doesn't feel like it's original. It doesn't feel like it has a ton of personality going for it. It's an interesting premise, and it's good casting, and it has some solid laughs here and there for sure, but there are some periods of time where you're like, alright, this movie doesn't have like a ton of heart to it. It doesn't really feel like it's based in trying to convey any kind of other message or anything like some of the great comedies do. So the fact that it just kind of has some laughs here and there with a pretty good cast just makes it kind of a comedy that you'll probably forget about in a little bit. Like, here's the thing, I usually do these reviews like shortly after I get home from seeing the movie, but I'm doing this the next night after seeing the movie, and this afternoon I was just laying on the couch like, what movie did I see last night? Oh yeah, it was Tag. It was okay. So I don't feel like it's really going to stick with you all that long if you do end up seeing it, but if you need to laugh, go see Tag. I do think that the end gets into some darker territory that I didn't really feel all that comfortable watching at some points, and it kind of felt like it was a completely out of left field type of hit, but like, you know, it's one of those things where either you roll with it or you don't. It didn't really work for me. Coupling that with the fact that it's kind of a forgettable movie and doesn't have all that many consistent laughs, I do think that it's a movie you can probably catch on TBS or something and get the full effect from as much as you would if you were in there. But that said, I enjoyed it overall. Again, good cast, some pretty good laughs here and there, and really liked the Jeremy Renner character in particular. So guys, those are my thoughts on Tag. Be sure to let me know all of yours in the comment section down below. You guys can go over to mymoviethoughts.com, follow me on Twitter at John Hayeck, and subscribe to this YouTube channel for tons more posts from me. Links to all three of those are in the comment section down below. You guys can also like this video, comment on it, share it with some friends. I am John Hayeck, and as always, thank you guys so much for watching.